didn't see you there. Today, I would like to talk to you about something that's going to affect your children and your grandchildren after. I'm not talking about dank memes or taxes or the sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl. What I am talking about affects our whole world as a whole. What I'm talking about is climate change. Now, some of you may be thinking, what is climate change? Well, silly nugget, I'm going to tell you. Climate change is any change in climate over time, whether due to natural variability or as a result of human activity. Imagine a desert. The current climate may be very hot and dry, yet imagine that desert becoming wet and very cold over time. The current trend we see in our climate as changing is a onward curve up in rising temperature. So when you hear somebody say, it's getting hot in here, you know they're not technically lying. That is, of course, if they're referring to global temperature trends. Here we can see the increase in global average temperature over the past years since the 1880s to today. As you can see, today the global temperature average has been higher than ever before. This is causing people to feel the need to post selfies with the current temperature over their face on hip new social media websites. But what does this do to the Earth, besides raise its temperature and make me bust out my jorts more often? You know, jean shorts. Well, one effect that is the frost precipitation is also changing significantly in the United States. The northern part of the United States is receiving more rainfall, while the southern part of the United States is experiencing less rainfall. A great example, let's say California. See, they could really use some of this right now. California's drought has inspired former Star Trek star William Shatner to create a pipeline draining the water from Seattle to California. However, his plan hasn't really worked, or at least hasn't worked yet. Another, and probably the most known effect of climate change, is the increase in average temperatures. The heat will be raised and cold waves will be much less intense. By the end of the century, days of extreme heat that should happen only once every 20 years will most likely occur every 2 to 3 years. This may cause more birthday parties to occur at places like ice skating rinks to escape the heat. But that doesn't matter right now. Speaking of ice, you know the Arctic? With all those narwhals and polar bears and stuff? Yeah, well, it's melting. Yeah. In fact, in this picture that you see of both the Arctic in 1979 and 2007, you can see that the ice coverage over the Arctic has shrunken drastically. Well, a good explanation for the recent increase is something that I like to call the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is basically when sunlight passes through the atmosphere and warms the Earth's surface. This heat is radiated back towards space. Most of the outgoing heat is absorbed by greenhouse gas molecules, such as carbon dioxide, and is re-emitted in all directions, warming the surface of the Earth and the lower temperature. The recent increase of the greenhouse effect can easily be related to the amount of carbon dioxide found in the atmosphere. But where did it come from? Well, since the Industrial Revolution began in the 1800s, and we began to burn coal along with other fossil fuels for our energy, and we began to pump nasty carbon dioxide produced from these resources into the atmosphere, causing the atmosphere to become more dense and not allow the passage of sun rays back into space. But what can we do to stop this? Take action. Some things each individual can do to try and get rid of the climate change is to be more energy efficient. You already switch off lights? What's next? Here's an idea. Change the light bulbs to compact fluorescents or LEDs. Unplug computers, TVs, and other electronics when not in use. Dryers can be energy hogs, so hang dry when you can. Be using renewable power. Ask your utility to switch your account to clean, renewable power, such as from wind farms. If it doesn't offer this option yet, ask it to.
I now know all about climate change. The car doesn't actually have an engine. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you on the climate change side. Yeah.